Welcome back to the show this morning. Thank you so much for being with us. Telephone number again, 870-275-9799, the intersection of conservative ideas and reality. We don't just want to talk about conservative ideas. We want to actually see them implemented. And here's one guy that is actually doing this. I want to introduce you to a Texas sheriff. He's from Hudspeth County. His name is Arvin West, and he joins us via phone. Sheriff West, how are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I wanted to share your story. I saw it. I know this happened back in July. You're the sheriff of a Texas border county, and it seems like you think that in the future, federal government may actually do more to come after our guns, and you declared your county a sanctuary county for the Second Amendment. Tell us about that, sir.
It's pretty simple. I've been in business my entire adult life, in the small business, and I've seen our government just chip away and chip away and chip away with regulations, with just different angles at cutting away and beating small businesses over the head. And I could see this movement on a Second Amendment Constitution. The Democrats, the way they're acting, the issues that are happening throughout the country, and I could see where they were going to kind of backdoor trying to take our guns away. They knew they can't stand up to the Americans and say, "Come, give me your guns," and we're the federal government. We're here to take care of you. They knew that would never fly. So I could see them coming into counties, to municipalities, and saying, "Look, we'll give you grants or we'll give you money to start collecting guns from your citizens." And the fear I had was my county government taking that money and trying to either push myself or a future sheriff to do just that. And by passing this resolution, by putting it on the table now, they would be in direct violation of that.
Wow. Yeah, I did not want to accept any federal money that had strings attached. And again, this is from a Gun Owners of America article I'm reading. Go ahead.
I don't take any federal grants like that. Don't get me wrong. We're a poor county. We're right at 5,000 square miles, and I've got right at 5,000 people here in the whole county. But and our tax base is real low. But I will not take federal funds that have strings attached to it. There's like the Stone Garden. I'm the only sheriff on the border that will not accept a Stone Garden grant that we get to the federal government via the Border Patrol. I won't take any of that money because I'm not going to sit here. And first of all, I'm elected by the citizens of the county of Hudspeth, not the federal government, and I'm not going to sit there and be dictated on how to treat my people by the federal government.
That's exactly right. Now, I want you to, what you're doing is what I've talked about sheriffs and really any local government doing for a very long time, and it can be tough because that money is being, thrown out there like a carrot. Tell us about the actual constitutional authority that a sheriff has.
Well, it's the oath. The first thing, our oath is to protect and preserve life and to protect the citizens of your county. And that's and to enforce the Constitution of the United States. I mean, when we raise our right hand and put our hand on the Bible, that's what we're told. That's what we swear that we're going to do.
So then it's pretty straightforward at that point. But a sheriff is the highest. I want to remind everybody, the sheriff is the highest authority in that county, right? I mean, in that governing body, you have a lot of power, and I don't think a lot of sheriffs across the country, across the state of Arkansas, for example, where we're broadcasting, actually understand the authority they have.
No, in Texas, actually across the country, I think it is, but I know in Texas, I am the chief law enforcement officer of this county.
Right. And what does that mean? That mean when it comes to federal overreach and them attempting, let's say that they attempt to, feds want to conduct some operation, right? I mean, they're supposed to clear that with you.
Well, on a routine basis, they don't. I mean, they don't need to clear that stuff. But if they come into my backyard and going to do something, yeah, they better damn sure let me know, or we're going to have a big problem. And we've had that in the past, where I've had like ATF come in and just there's some bad guys that had guns and had a stash of meth house and just all kinds of illegal activity. And it's not that I don't want to enforce the law. If these guys are doing anything that's criminal, absolutely. You know, the damn criminals damn sure don't need any guns. But, you know, just a heads up, hey, Sheriff, we're looking at these people. They could have guns. They could be growing meth. They could be doing stuff like that. And we'll assist. I mean, if they want us to. If they don't need us to assist, I got other things we could be doing besides, you know, playing with federal agencies. But the fact of the matter is no, you're not just going to come in here and attempt to take guns away from my citizens. It's going to be after the fight. First and utmost, they're going to have to go through me. Second, they're going to have to go through my citizens.
Yeah.
And they're going to play hell doing that.
So we're talking with Sheriff Arvin West. He's the sheriff of Hudspeth County, that's in Texas, and it is, I'm assuming, one county to the east of the county where El Paso is. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's where we had that shooting this weekend at the Walmart.
What's the feeling around that area down there in that part of Texas, sir?
Well, let me tell you, the reaction that I'm seeing, that I'm hearing out here is, you know, there was 3,000 shoppers, approximately, different reports, but there was, you know, anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000 shoppers in Walmart. And a lot of questions I'm getting. Of course, you got to understand, my county is rural compared to El Paso's, but the questions I'm hearing is, out of all those shoppers, nobody had a damn gun they could have shot back, you know, and that's kind of the sentiments. I mean, they're somber here. Everybody feels for the victims and the families, but on the same token, you know, why wasn't anybody armed in there? Why didn't anybody take this idiot out?
Mm-hmm. I can imagine that. Matter of fact, there's a Daily Caller article with one of the survivors, and he wasn't armed, but his mom, who he was shopping with, normally was armed. But for some reason that day, she decided they were just going to Walmart. We're just going to Walmart. I'll leave my snub-nosed 38 here. And that look that they had with each other when the shooting started, and they both knew, because they both knew she didn't bring her gun. You know, I mean, that should be a reminder to everybody out there. I'm guilty of it, Sheriff. I'm guilty of it. I carry my gun, and sometimes I just don't. And that's, you know, you never know. I mean, you know, when you need it, you need it.
Well, and I'm the world's worst about carrying guns. I very seldom have a gun strapped on my hip. I've got one close by usually, but I very seldom walk around with a gun on my hip. But on the same token, that's my choice. I don't want it taken away from anybody else. Like I said, I've got one handy. I get to it in a case like that, going into Walmart where there's a lot of people. I probably would have been carrying a gun. Anytime I meet with the federal government or leave my county, I usually pack a gun. But and it's just that, you know, in a case like that, it's just saddening. It's just sickening, you know.
Yeah. Can I ask you about the reaction nationally to this? Obviously, also the shooter in Ohio, but now it seems like we have people coalescing on what's called a red flag law, and a lot of them are Republicans. What are your thoughts on a red flag law, sir?
Well, I mean, how much more? When was the last time you went and bought a gun? I mean, how much more stringent do you need to get to go in there and purchase a gun? It's, you know, I bought one for my nephew who's 11 years old a couple of weeks ago, and it took me about an hour and a half to clear everything. And I have a concealed license, but it just, you know, there's a lot of red tape involved that the federal government issued out in buying a gun. Some of it's good, some of it is you know, kind of ridiculous. They want to know, you know, when was the last time you had your last tooth pulled and stuff like that. But this red flag warning, it's you're not going to keep, I don't give a damn how many laws you pass from Washington or Texas or Arkansas or Louisiana or wherever you're at. I don't care how many damn laws you pass, you're still not going to preempt the criminal from getting guns. I mean, or the psychos from getting guns. It's going to happen. And there's really no fix to prevent it from somebody being stupid, but you've got to be able to protect yourself. Now that we can do, we're able to protect ourselves as long as we can still.
You're exactly right. And my frustration, I've had now like 48 hours to really, since they started suggesting red flag laws. My frustration, I've really come down to this. They are proposing gun confiscation. And I know there are people out there that I could say, if I was emperor, I don't think this guy needs to have a gun. He's weird, you know? Being weird is not necessarily a crime, right? But I just know that if they put this law on the books, it's going to be abused by liberals. It's going to be abused by judges that don't like the Second Amendment. I mean, we know there are people out there that want to do away with the Second Amendment altogether. And I just cannot believe that the legitimate reaction to this is to put laws in place that will allow the government to confiscate your weapons without proving that you've actually committed a crime. That is amazing to me.
Oh, it's a farce, you know, and it won't happen in my county, and I can't speak for any other counties in the state of Texas or anywhere in the country. But they're not going to come down here and do that. I mean, it's not. If they do, it's going to be after the fight.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? We're running out of time here, Sheriff. We're talking with Sheriff Arvin West. He's the Hudspeth County Sheriff in Texas, a border county. But actually, before I get to my last question, how are border crossings down there? What's going on down there? What do you need? What do you think needs to happen?
Well, secure the border, put Border Patrol back on the border, and build a wall where the wall is feasible. And just do your jobs, you know. Let these agents do what they're supposed to be doing, what they know what to do, and leave the bureaucracy out of it. And we'll get this, you know, we'll get this country cleaned up, and we'll just let good people in and not worry about the bad people.
That's exactly right. What do you think? Well, if you could say one thing, I mean, we've got sheriffs who are listening to this program right now. If you could say one thing to them, what would you say?
Stay strong. Stay true to the Constitution, stay true to your oath, and protect your citizens.
All right. Sheriff Arvin West, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Thank you for standing up for the Constitution. And I think if we had, if America was full of sheriffs like you, sir, I think a lot of this nonsense would stop. So.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, and it's been a pleasure.
All righty. Sheriff Arvin West, everybody.